This podcast is sponsored by Intentional Living Magazine, your ultimate guide created to help infuse purpose and passion into your everyday life. From expert features that provide valuable insights to thought-provoking content that sparks transformation, this magazine, an online platform, is a perfect source of inspiration for all of those of us who truly believe in the power of intentional choices.
Hi, and in today's episode, we decided to do this life and business clinic a while ago.
We did.
And we finally got some questions. So we've answered all of them in this episode of Life and Business Clinic, all ranging from breathwork in schools right the way through to finding balance in home and business.
Yeah, perfect. Good morning, Claire.
Hello, how are you?
It feels like ages ago since we've been here.
I know, it's been, I think it might be about 6 weeks, you know.
It is does feel like a long time, but you look very summery and gorgeous today.
Well, it's nice outside. It's July 2024 and it's actually not raining today.
But it has been.
It doesn't stop in the UK, does it?
No.
But we're happy today, and we're going out for a little lunch. We're going to sit outside if it's not raining. And we wanted to start this episode is a short one, because it's the first of what we're going to do with our life and business clinics.
Life and business clinic. Just remind me, because I've got all these post-its here. Remind me which group of people this was that gave us these.
Mm-hmm. When we delivered a wellbeing and performance session for businesses in Knowsley at Amazon headquarters.
Okay, yeah.
And we asked the women that attended that session with us if they had any questions and that we could, for our life and business clinic. So they have been in my bag for about 3 or 4 weeks, hence why they're a little bit.
They're beautiful.
Tatty.
They're lifting. They're loved.
But I knew if they stay in the bag, they come in the podcast studio with us, and these can form the basis of the first life and business clinic.
So I think we've got a real mixture here. So shall I start asking them?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. First question, big one from Kelly. Can you teach breathing at school age by making it a lesson to help reduce anxiety and improve mental health? So many people I speak to have really bad anxiety due to the way they breathe. Mm-hmm.
So first of all, what's the question? Can you teach breathing?
Can you teach breathing? And I think the point is would it be possible to teach breathing at school age?
First of all, I always laugh when we talk about breathwork and breathing. We breathe anyway. So it's, everyone breathes, otherwise we wouldn't be here, would we? So people already breathe, but it's about teaching them how to breathe properly or for better, more effectively, so that the body and the heart and the mind can work better. Yeah. So I think that would be an amazing thing to be on the curriculum for schools from an early age. Yeah. But as parents and, carers of people, we can also teach, learn how to breathe properly. But it goes hand in hand with posture, making sure that we're sitting up straight, that we've got, so that we can allow the oxygen to come into the lungs and into the body, and so that we're not crouched over. So, but yeah, I think that would be a great idea. I'm not sure. I've heard of some primary schools doing some type of yoga mindfulness pieces. And as a yoga teacher, we do, in the yoga teacher training obviously we learn about yoga philosophy and also the science of yoga. And we also learn about the endocrine system and the body, and breathwork and meditation, because breathwork and meditation are forms of yoga. They're limbs of yoga, which I've talked about before. And in yogic terms or yogic phrase, it's called pranayama, and it's the life force energy that is all around us and that keeps us alive. So from the moment that we're born to the day that we leave, our breath comes as soon as we're born, and the last breath is taken as we leave and we pass over to wherever we go. Yeah. And
I think you hit the nail on the head there, and you said it goes in line with posture. But I think one of the key things is teaching holistic well-being at schools as part of the curriculum, because ultimately that leads into society as a whole, that we become a healthier society, we become a more educated society with things that matter, with subjects that matter, i.e. looking after this body that we live in. Mm-hmm. It's not a byproduct of life. This is it. This is it. Mm-hmm. This is it. And so the whole education system for me needs a huge overhaul.
Yeah.
And I know that's not just me, that's quite a lot of people. Yeah. And we can dance around our handbags and say, yeah, they need this and that and the other, because we've been told they need this, that and the other. I think at the moment they need maths and English to go on to the next step.
Yeah.
And then to tick the boxes.
Maths and English, and I think, is it basic IT or
not sure.
Something
Well, even keyboard they've got to learn now as well. They have about an hour's PE. I could be wrong on the hours, but I did a post this week about, it was an Einstein post about, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a wall, it will always think it's stupid. And I think this whole education piece is about learning about celebrating individuality, which is difficult in the system that we have, because the system is there to churn out societal members that are going to go down the work route and repeat. That's the top and bottom of it. So holistic well-being in the school would be amazing, and breathing absolutely needs to be part of that.
Yeah, the breathwork piece, teaching people how to breathe properly and, into the abdomen and not into the chest, because that's where a lot of people hold stress. And maybe we do a podcast on breathing.
Just sort of thought, this weekend I had a message from a client whose child, neurodiverse, which a lot of kids are now, hasn't been to school for ages because of the anxiety. Anxiety's been huge. And I said, what are you doing to support him? So she came back with a few things, and she said, well, I'm using oils and we're doing workbooks and things like that. So I said, do you know about the flip the lid analogy? And she said, no, I don't. So I just went through it. Would that be useful to talk about now?
Go on.
So as part of the somatic trauma-informed leadership and development qualifications that we have, we learn about the oh my God, my head's gone absolutely blank today. We learn about the
brain.
Yeah, well done. The brain. Mine's not functioning today.
Oh, I get it. We'll see how far we need to get our brains into action today, don't we? I'm with you on it.
Yeah. So, because she was saying what oils would help, and I said, well, there's oils that will help from a chemical point of view, from a chemical constituent point of view.
Yeah.
I said, but ultimately, if he doesn't like the smell of it, it's not going to work. So I explained the flip the lid analogy. So for those that can see what I'm doing, then you can see me. But if you can't, I'm just holding my fist together with my thumb inside. So my wrist and the bone leading up to my thumb bone is the first part of the brain that develops. That's the brain stem. And that part of the brain just wants to know, am I safe? Am I safe? And then the thumb inside the palm, the closed palm, is the emotional brain. It's the limbic system. And the limbic system is responsible for your memories. And it's also responsible for your emotions, obviously. And that's controlled there. And then the hand that crawls over the crawls over.
I love that.
The
That's
hand
such a
that
good explanation.
crawls over the top. That is your neocortex. So that's basically your thinking, rational brain. And when it's down like that, that means it's got really good blood flow for it. So you can think calmly, you can think logically, and you can know, yeah, I'm safe. I'm happy, I'm safe. When you don't feel safe, this bit is exposed. The lid comes off, so flipping the lid, and then you come from the emotional brain. So if you've got a child in a meltdown or angry or sad, or they're operating from this bit, they've not got blood flow to the rest of these fingers. So the limbic system is exposed. So your limbic system sits behind here, behind the nose. And this is why smell is massively important, the sense of smell, because smell is linked to memory, which is linked to emotions. So is there a smell that you can think of now that takes you back to a certain memory or feeling?
I love the smell of Christmas trees.
Okay.
Christmas.
Where does that take you?
It takes me to my old house in my childhood with my mum and dad and Christmas presents around the tree. Perfect. And everything's all safe and cozy.
Okay.
And cuddly.
And that's spot on.
Yeah.
So for you then, for this child that we were talking to, if we then bring in a smell of pine or pine needles, for you that would invoke that emotion, that feeling. And so you can see how clever that is, because your brain is looking through the filing cabinet of memories and it's going, yep, that's it. Safe, calm, cozy, Christmas tree smell. So with the oils, I said, you could use X, Y, and Z, but if he doesn't like the smell of it, and it doesn't evoke the
safety
right emotion, the safety, then it's not going to have the same impact. So it's about finding the right smell. So she said, that's really interesting, because he makes popcorn in the microwave because that smells happy. And so just by teaching that little bit of an analogy and almost teaching the kids, actually, if you're ranting, if you're crying, if you're upset, we're never going to make sense of it until we can bring the lid back down. So how do we then bring the lid back down? Breathing is one of those things. Aromatic anchoring, linking that smell to an emotion, and you can train that. It's part of conditioning. So it's almost like we know that the red light means stop. The smell of cut grass, what does that say to you?
Yeah, summer.
Summer, exactly that. So,
which is very few and far between in the UK. I've got a bee in my bonnet over there.
But that, for me, would be a better piece of education than learning about Romulus and Remus in classical studies. Whoever they were.
Oh, God, I know.
So that, in answer to Kelly, that was a bit of a long-winded one, but in answer to Kelly's question.
And I think it's really relevant for anyone listening, for teachers, for parents, for families and for children. Yes, breath work and teaching people how to breathe properly and the whole holistic well-being piece.
Self-regulating,
important.
that's the word I was looking for. Self-regulating and polyvagal theory.
Yeah.
So if a child can learn to regulate, or adult learn to regulate their whole system, the nervous system, then
and also being able to express their emotions in a safe space. It's like, you know what it's like when you're really emotional and you've got something that needs to come out. It's like, let that come out. So rather than trying to say, there's nothing worse than being told to calm down. I see people saying to people, oh my God, calm down, and it's like, and then they don't, they go worse. And it's like, let them have their emotion, let them have their emotional moment, let it come through, and then speak to them later on.
Because it's energy.
No point, absolutely no point. And I am one of those people. I'm very calm, but if something really gets to me, and it takes a lot, the lid flips and you don't know who this person is. She's like,
she don't come out often, does she? But when she
doesn't,
does,
but when
Jesus
she does,
tonight.
it's pushed. But it's like the lid comes down like straight away, and then 10 minutes later, I'm like, wow, that I lost it then. But sometimes it's needed.
It's about self-awareness, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I am and there's times when I've not been aware of what I've said. I've been that gone with the anger that. It's like, oh, wow, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to say it. I should have said it. Could have said it like this. And then there's other times when I am self-aware in the moment, but I'm expressing that sacred rage of, I'm not doing this anymore. I've had enough. And
it's frustration as well, right?
Frustration, yeah. But I definitely, it's getting fewer and far between because of the breath work, because of the meditation, because the boundaries I'm putting in place so that I am a better person.
But you're self-aware.
Yeah.
Self-awareness is massive.
It is.
It's massive. So I hope that's answered your question, Kelly.
Yeah, I remember Kelly now. I remember.
I don't even remember where these came from. Honest to God, menopause brain is like mental.
What's the next question?
The next question, Claire, in the chair is, how do we create a good work-life balance?
Oh God, that's a good one, isn't it?
So
Go on, you go first.
as part of the Fading Woman, which is my book, I take you through a life audit. And so work and life, work is part of life, but
it's not life.
It's not life. Well, it is for some people, but life itself is made up of so many different things. And the analogy, I love an analogy, is we have a seesaw and we're trying to balance, aren't we, all of it. But it's not just, so what's included in work, right? And then what's included in life. So in life, we've got our family, our friends, our diet, our hormones, our hydration, our nutritious health, our cellular health, our sleep, our stress, all of that stuff. They're all like little balls, big balls that we're juggling. And so you're saying work as one thing and life, well, it all mixes in one.
Work is part
of life. So it's almost like having an overall view of the different elements of your life and looking at where they are out of kilter. And the quiz that we have, which is called
the Life Performance Quiz,
which you will find on our website under free resources, is a really quick and easy quiz that if you answer it honestly, and we have done an episode about it, if you answer it honestly, you will be able to see where parts of your life are out of balance and where potentially you may want to look at parts of your life to create better balance. So I think we say to try and do that every 3 months because things change all of the time. So again, we look at finances, we look at relationships, we look at community, we look at environment, we look at
physical health,
all of it.
And the one that we love the most, the sense of adventure.
Of adventure. Yeah. Oh God, I've not lost the sense of adventure. I've lost the ability to actually do it at the moment.
You need to make time for yourself. That's why.
Yeah. I get it.
So
that's one of my areas.
Thank you for that. Going back to that question, then what was the question? How do you
create a work-life balance?
So what you said, and I know there are people that absolutely love their work and they love their job. It isn't like work. It's like it's passion. So if some people think, well, you know what, I absolutely love what I do. It brings me joy. Keep doing it. But I know what we do. We absolutely love serving and helping clients and communities. But there's parts of the business like the IT, which you mainly do, and all of the back office stuff, which is the technical stuff, that we don't really enjoy, and it doesn't light us up, and it can prevent us sometimes from serving and doing what does light us up. So we're in that mix now of, what do we need to do to change it and getting, because we still, even though we teach this stuff, we still have to regularly look at this. I'd probably say every couple of months to go, where are we? Right, okay, we're doing too much IT. Yeah. What's the purpose of this? Let's go back to our plan and our strategy so that we can get back in balance. And life can't always be balanced. You can cope, you can try, but things happen. Things do happen. And it's like, what ball can you drop?
Yeah.
That glass ball analogy, what's a glass ball, what's a rubber ball? Keep hold of the glass balls, the things that are really important to you, juggling them, and you can let the others fall away until later on. So it's really deciding what's important to you and what's bringing you joy and satisfaction and peace. But the Life Performance Quiz helps someone who's not done that to start looking at it. And I'd definitely say looking at the values. So as a human being, what are your values? What are they? Is it family? Is it loyalty? Is it honesty? Is it having fun? Is it service? There's
so much,
hundreds of them. But if you pick about 5 as your main core values, and then when you're making decisions, you can say, does this sit right with my values? And if it doesn't, and it doesn't feel right in the body, then don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. And also one of the exercises in the Fading Woman is to look at your
Yeah, Lara, you're like me. I was like this last month.
Look at your radiators and drains. Look at your radiators and drains. So literally all of the things that you're looking at, which parts of life light you up and what doesn't. And then you work to getting rid of the stuff that doesn't. Oh my God, the IT. And then work at bringing more things in that do.
Light you up.
And it's never going to be perfect. And I think if you're striving for 100% perfection, you're not going to get there. So it's almost like accept that we're aiming for 80. And so we're not necessarily failing. We're just finding the best version every time.
And enjoying the journey, isn't it? So it's like people keep going on about, I'll be happy when.
I get that.
I'll be happy when. And it's like, well, what about today? What's going to bring you joy today? Those little steps. So that you're not bitter at the end of the journey, working all the hours God sends to get you to where you want to be, to get the thing, and then you're tired and burnt out, and then you die.
I realise the thing isn't exactly what
And
you
the
thought it'd
thing
be.
is
Oh, that was
exactly-
such an uplifting one. Thank you, Claire. That was quite an uplifting one. So here's another one for you. Suggestions for a 10-minute well-being boost throughout the day. One of my brilliant ones, it's not mine, but when I first started CBT, way before my fibromyalgia started, or just as my fibromyalgia started, when I had my pain, I was referred to for CBT, or I paid for CBT. And as I was sat chatting to the therapist, she handed me a piece of paper, and then it said, "Where are your shoulders?"
Oh, yeah.
I was like that, la, 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 la. And then I went, "Ooh, drop your shoulders." And then she did like the body check that you do with your meditation. So relax your shoulders. Relax. I was like an amoeba at the end of it.
What's an amoeba?
Just like a cell. It's like
Just one cell,
Blub.
just like blum. Was it lovely?
That's the sound. Like that. Blub. Lift your arm. No, I can't. Like that. But it made me realise how tense my body was. How I
You're
was
in
literally
fight,
sat
flight.
in
Fight,
fight and flight. I was sat in that whole, my nervous system was on overdrive, my adrenaline was pumping. I was probably in functional freeze, to be fair, but between fight and flight and functional freeze, it wasn't a great place to be. So again, polyvagal theory is understanding that. And what I would say is set an alarm, a random alarm. I think there's an app for it. I've got a feeling it's called something like the lotus flower or something like that. And you can set random alarms throughout the day where your phone will go off and you can set it off for a purpose. So for me, it would be body check.
Yeah.
Even driving, like you can be like that. And just random, so that a quick boost throughout the day is okay. Check your body. Where's my shoulders? Where's my breathing? Stop. Do some breathing. You do the 4, is it 4, 6, 8 you do? The 4 in, hold for 4, hold for 6 and out for...
There's something called box breathing, isn't
Yeah.
there? And you can,
Well, I do 4,
and you
4,
can
4,
imagine
4.
a box, and you breathe in for 4, and like you can
Hold for 4.
draw a box as you're doing
Yeah.
it. And so it's in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold out for 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of different breath works you can do. You can do alternate nostril breathing as well, which is good for bringing both sides of the brain together. But even if you just sit down, for me, if you've got 10 minutes, sit down, take your shoes off, place your feet on the grass, close your eyes, and just breathe into the abdomen, belly breathing. So breathing in, pushing the belly out. And as you exhale, the belly comes in. And just sit there with your cup of tea, with your glass of water, with your lunch, and then even just sit there and mindfully eating your lunch.
Yeah.
So
And if you
many
can't
of
get
us are sitting
outside-
behind a screen as we eat our lunch. That is not a break. It really isn't. And for me, I think all of these apps are great for reminders, but I'm like, surely you can remind yourself when you need a break. But there's a lot of people that don't.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you get into the zone, I can find myself sitting there for hours.
I know, but that's if you're in flow and you're enjoying what you're doing, great, because you're in flow and you're not distracted, but you might be liking something. But if it's something that you're not and you become rigid, yeah. So yeah, I get that. People need reminders, but we shouldn't have to rely on a machine to tell us to take a break. This is the the life that
It
we
was
live
a
in now.
suggestion.
No, I know, and I get it because some people will need that. But my thing is, we shouldn't need it.
No,
but
we
we
shouldn't,
do
but we
in
do.
this world.
Yeah.
So that will be helpful for most people.
Anything else? And the other thing that I would use is, again,
Oils. Yeah.
Aromatic anchoring. We talked about that. Again, like yesterday I was on the phone to you and I went, I need frankincense. And then I couldn't find it. So I used balance and I went, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And just breathe in for a minute and just, again, ground.
I shared your oils yesterday, you know, the Space and Freedom ones.
Oh, yeah.
With the women I was doing our circle with last night, and they all picked one. And they all said the one that they picked was relevant to what they needed last night. It was, they loved them. So yeah.
Everyone loves them.
Beautiful.
It's just about bringing
really
them into
helpful.
your life.
Okay, what's the next question?
The next one is, let me get, Kelly's done. We've done that. What oils would you recommend for a calm, relaxing home versus an uplifting, motivational workplace? Depends. Again, there's loads and loads of different oils that you can use for a calm and relaxing home.
Give us an example then. So I know that I've got diffusers at home because obviously you've taught me about the toxic load and all of the candles and everything that we can purchase and the air plugins. I haven't had them for years. So diffusers, get yourself a diffuser, whether it's in a workplace, whether it's at home, whether it's in a bedroom, get yourself a few diffusers, and then you just add water and then give us, say, 2 or 3 oils that you would use for a calming environment. If you were going to go to sleep and you wanted to have a bit of restful time.
Oh, so for the bedroom, for calm, I would have vetiver, it's a root, cedarwood, which is a tree. Trees are really good for grounding if you think of the roots, and lavender. But if you're neurodiverse, lavender can have the opposite effect.
Okay.
So again, being aware of that, a lot of people aren't, because 90% of people lavender will work for. If they're not, the alternative to lavender can be pettigrain. I don't like the smell of pettigrain, but again, it's a choice.
Yeah.
It works for some people. Some people will choose oils that I would consider like wild orange. Some people find that really relaxing. I find it really uplifting. So again, it wouldn't be an oil that I would put on for sleep. But lavender, vetiver and cedarwood, those 3 oils helped me come off my sleeping tablets.
Amazing.
Within 4 days, gone, done.
So, and in terms of uplifting, if you want, so you could obviously use that at home, and you can use it if you want a calm workspace.
Yeah, anywhere.
You want your staff to relax in a chill out room or something, but in a workspace that we want to be productive and more focused. I know you've given me some suggestions and it works amazingly.
So the
what would you suggest?
So I would, get shit done. Peppermint.
Yes.
Because it wakes you up.
Oh yeah.
And it's like a kick in the face. It's just
so
like
nice.
It opens your airways and it wakes you up. It's also good if you've got a long drive in the evening, have the peppermint oil with you because it's really powerful. 1 drop of doTERRA peppermint oil is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. It's really, really powerful. You don't need a lot. So literally put a drop in the hand and breathe it in like that. And whenever we see people do that, they go, whoa, oh my God. If you want to concentrate, I would put lavender, peppermint, wild orange and rosemary, because rosemary is really good for the brain. It's really good for memory. It's really good for dementia. It's really good for, concentration. Again.
Okay, so workplace to be focused, uplifted, peppermint, wild orange and rosemary.
I would, yeah.
Yeah, I know that I've used peppermint and wild orange, and I'll put that on in the office or wherever I'm working because I'm always in different rooms. That really helps me.
To be honest,
massively.
they do, yeah. And again, like I said before, with the limbic brain, again, it's teaching you what you need. So like when the kids were younger and in the morning, teenagers coming downstairs tired, you don't really want to go to school. Right, what can we put in there to wake them up? It's really difficult to be miserable when you're smelling fresh orange.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and it does, you can literally choose your mood.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say a calming, relaxing home, in the evening, the oils can be different to in the day.
Yeah.
So again, I just go, right, what do I want to feel like today? What do I want to choose today? What do I want to smell today?
It will be good to see a lot more homes with diffusers and pure essential oils as opposed to the plug-ins and the Spanish cleaning products and all of the toxic
and the melts, the wax
candles
melts
and
that
the
are
wax melt that are full of perfumes and chemicals. And I know a lot of people don't know this yet, but yeah, you'll definitely start to feel a difference because there's no toxins in the essential oils. Will do terrorism.
And the just to make it clear, the toxins we're talking about affect and impact the way our body and brain works. That's the fact. It affects our endocrine system. It affects our neurological system. It affects our respiratory system. So all of these things, they're not regulated in our country. And this is what's bonkers. I've seen recently as well, someone posted like sun cream. In fact, you messaged me on holiday and said, Jules, what's in this? And I did a quick check and I went, oh, it's filthy. It's filthy. It looks dead natural. The packaging is dead natural. Again, it's not regulated. And a lot of these products that we use are carcinogenic, which means they are causing cancer or causes of cancer. So it's not just a nice to have. When you know better, you do better.
Yeah, 100%. Okay.
So that's that one. 10 minutes. How to sort your bedroom for sleep. Always have the TV on at night and can't break the habit. This is Angela. So first of all, I would say to Angela, the fact that you just said you can't break the habit, you've told yourself that you can't. And therefore there's a belief there that you can't. And therefore, whilst that belief is there, you're right, you can't. If you tell yourself you can, then you will. That's the first thing. How to sort your bedroom for sleep. So when I was sick, my sleep was shocking. So I started a routine. And so I used to have a bath with magnesium salts before bed to reduce the cortisol. But whilst that was happening, I would have my diffuser on in my room. The door shut, prepping the space. Again, no phone in your room, no blue light in your room, no telly in your room. You know, like literally an hour before bedtime, try and come off all of your electronics and just maybe do breathing, maybe read a book, but not electronics. It's not really supportive.
Absolutely not, no. I do know a lot of people, I know my Mark does, my sister does as well, rely on having that. Just look at, if you're on camera, you just see the way Jules has had a coffee. It's like that, so she didn't have the mic. It's made me laugh. No, Mark goes to bed with his headphones in. And from memory, I don't think he's always done it. I need to go back to him and ask him how long he's been doing it for.
Yeah, what sorted it?
And and our Joanne likes to go to sleep with the telly on, just that background noise. And I think it then Tom switches it off when she's asleep. And I know some people say they find comfort in it, or that white noise, or that background noise. But surely that's not good for the brain or the body, because it's still absorbing some type of energy.
Well, Wayne Rooney had a hairdryer on to sleep. He's spoken about that. Even now, he has a hairdryer on cold, blowing in his face to sleep. That's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I suppose it's habit. And again, if you think about the kids, when you put them to bed, you put a lullaby on, or you put a light show on, or you put something soothing on to help them. It's just, again, they're just anchors, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, but it's just our brain needs to rest. And so having that constant attention, it's always on.
Yeah.
I would say turn it off.
It's not fully given you. Because I know there's apps again out there with all of these different frequencies and, you know, play for sleep. And I have tried them, and when I was struggling with sleep at the time, it helped. But then a few weeks later, it's like, no, that's enough of that now. I can do it on my own. But I find with a regular meditation practice, you will sleep anyway.
And light, I think, as well. I think people, if they're in darkness, your body then thinks it's time to rest.
Yeah, yeah.
So while there's any light going on, that's also disturbed. But interestingly, sleep deprivation is one of the core causes of chronic illness. When you go right back, it has a massive impact on the body, because that's when your body
It's
heals.
nothing worse than being tired. And then if it's like that over the years, it's your body needs to rest.
Oh, it's no surprise, is it, when you have kids and it's like torture, isn't it, when they first come out? Oh my God.
You're like,
oh, please, why did I? Who wanted this? When?
Oh, yeah, I know. So, yeah, the belief there then, so is about you just need to find a different bedtime routine, and what is it going to take for you to decide that?
Choice.
Yeah.
Choice. Have you eaten half of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you your personal and professional goals? I think that's how do you set your personal and professional goals. Would you plan for 1 year's time, 3 years' time, or 10 years' time? Again, this is part of the Fading Woman. It's almost like you could have short-term goals, mid-term goals, long-term goals, and your short-term goals might be this week, might be this month, might be this year. You decide, and then have mid and long, but know that they're all choices. And you can change them.
And they can change. It's like a framework.
Yeah, but by having them written down is helpful, and by identifying them is helpful, but you decide. And again, your personal and your business, again, it all depends on this balancing act that you have. That's what I would say. What would you say?
Yeah, I think it's the saying, isn't it? Start with the end in mind, what you want to reach, what's the vision, what's the dream, what's the goal, and then work your way back.
Yeah. And I think,
and then they make the other, they'll make, so start with the end in mind. What do you want? What does your life look like? The whole visualization of see it, feel it, hear it, everything that you some people don't even know what they want because we're distracted by that many things. But it really is that start with the end in mind. And again, it could be something like, I want to move house. Okay, where do you want to live? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And I know we go into human design and say you don't need to be specific with certain things, but what do you want it to feel like? Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? Yeah. Okay, let's make a plan to help us get there.
And for that, with the strategist in me, we use SMART objectives. So be really specific. Be really specific. I want to move house. Okay, make it measurable. How do you know when you've got there? Well, you've moved, right? Is it achievable? Only you can tell me that. Is it realistic? And then set a time frame for it. So it might be, right, I want to move house this year. Okay. So then we know that we're going to do that. What do we need to do to make that happen? Well, do I need to sell my house first? Yeah. Okay. So what do we need to do for that? Break that down, contact the estate agents, and then you build a plan from that. And again, is it achievable? Well, why can't you contact a estate agent? Well, I can. So that's achievable. Okay, so make it happen. When you're going to make that happen? And just set yourself, it's almost like a Gantt chart, really. It's a time plan it's a strategy, which a strategy is another word for
plan.
To do, plan.
Do.
Steps to make it happen. And if you apply the SMART objectives to it, then there's nothing left uncovered.
Yeah. So start with the end in mind and then work backwards from that.
Yeah. And that's the end of our questions.
It's the end of the Cut Life and Business Clinic today.
Well done for that.
It was good to have the questions though, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
So thank you for that. We're going to be doing more of these.
Yeah.
And keep sending questions in, and we will be asking at the in-person events as well. Actually, we can ask at the in-person event this weekend for questions.
Perfect, we will. Thank you for that, my Claire.
Thank you.
It's goodbye from you.
It's goodbye from you, kid.
Thanks, love.